the Hawk Tuah Girl might be going to jail, with a lot of her self-proclaimed fans actually demanding it for a supposed crime she has committed, scamming a ton of her viewers from their life savings. But how did we get here? Like everyone else, when I first heard the original Hawk Tuah clip, I laughed, me and my friends made jokes, and then I expected to forget about it in a week. That didn't happen. Not only is the Hawk Tuah Girl still at the forefront of pop culture, so much so that a lot of schools have to ban the term, but this year they were even selling Hawk Tuah themed costumes at Spirit Halloween. How did one viral clip launch Haley Welch into stardom? What did she do right? Could you do it? And what did she do so wrong that might land her in jail? Well, let's back up and start from the very beginning. Because before she was running the disgraced celebrity speedrun Any Percent, before Rolling Stone called her the Gen Z Dolly Parton, we need to go back to a time where Hawk Tuah was just a sound effect for cowboys spitting in a bucket. In June of 2024, Haley Welch was working as a minimum wage factory worker in Nashville, Tennessee. One night, she was a little tipsy and she was walking down the Broadway district when she was approached by two men who run the YouTube channel Tim and DTV. A quick glance at their channel would tell you that they specialize in man-in-the-street style interviews where they walk up to random passerbyers and ask them fairly raunchy questions. Just look at these titles. So it should be no surprise that they would walk up to Miss Welch and ask her what's one thing in bed that men go crazy for, to which she responded,
you gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing.
But little did they know that spit was not the only thing coming out of her mouth that night, but liquid gold instead. Now, as many of you probably know, this clip went mega viral, especially on short form content. It just had that golden feeling that hit your ear holes just right. So much so that the YouTube channel Tim and DTV changed the name of their video to the original Hawk Tuah video to get more views, despite it only being like a 15-second clip in an over 10-minute video. Now, if that's where the story ended, I wouldn't be making a video on this, but clearly it isn't. Clips like this go viral not just every month or week, but every day. Now, what separates Haley Welch, now more commonly known as the Hawk Tuah Girl, from someone like Moo Dang the Hippo or Jules LeBron, who coined the term
very demure, very mindful,
is that she somehow turned her viral moment into a multi-million-dollar brand. She managed to capture her lightning in a bottle and took advantage of her massive opportunity. And I don't mean in a sort of visualize or manifest or she had a billionaire mindset or any of that scammer crap. Trust me, we'll talk about scams soon enough. But she uniquely positioned herself to succeed based on this viral video. The key for any creator or any successful business is taking advantage of opportunities, but especially for creators in an online space. Whether you're an influencer or artist, you need to strike while the iron is hot. With enough time and focus, you will eventually go viral, mostly by luck, but how you take advantage of that virality determines whether or not you can turn it into an actual career. Can you take those huge amount of views and turn it into more views and followers, or turn it into cash? And how fast can you do it? Can you do it before people forget who you are? If your first video gets 100 million views, all you really need to do is convince 2% of those people to watch the rest of your content, and you will be a very successful creator. One day you'll be a nobody, and the next month you're a viral sensation. For another example, look at Chapel Rowan this year, who blew up after considering quitting music because she wasn't finding success. Once she went viral earlier this year, her and her team went to every music festival possible and performed. HOTTOGO was everywhere. She released a new single as well. She had to take advantage of the moment, and she had positioned herself well to do that. So how did the Hawk Tuah Girl take advantage of this opportunity? Well, the minute she got any sort of fame, she immediately started trademarking the term Hawk Tuah. She started an Instagram, which immediately gained millions of followers and began selling merchandise. Now, many people would consider 3 million followers on Instagram already very successful, and through selling merch, she probably made a pretty penny as well, but this isn't where she stopped. If she had, she would probably just be a very forgettable viral star who made a pretty penny and just does brand deals via Instagram. But no, she decided to continue to grow her brand and grow it fast. Fast enough that she took part in a massive scam for her audience, but we'll get to that. Now, Haley Welch had a problem. Even though she had the trademarks for it, Hawk Tuah as a brand is pretty weak. It's based on a single sex joke, and jokes get very old very fast. If she wanted to see continued success, she had to pivot. She had to branch out and diversify their content, and a lot of people who get a small taste of fame and virality mess up here. One of their works will go viral and they will follow it up with something that is almost a carbon copy. You'll see this with a lot of artists who are considered one-hit wonders. They'll follow up their hit song with a song that sounds the exact same. Because of this, they get pigeonholed. Everyone who had just a spark of curiosity of what else you could put out is now determined that you'll never do anything remotely different, and they'll leave. What you really want to do is take what went viral and boil it down to the core components that people liked and see if you could apply that to something new and different. So now let's re-examine the Hawk Tuah clip. What do people love so much about it? Well, one, it's very down to earth, it's not overly produced, and it's very authentic. Two, people really like her southern twang and small town vibe. She has a very pleasing accent to the ear. And three, it's a little raunchy and funny. So what Hayley Welch did with those attributes is she took them and started the Talk to a podcast under Jake Paul's media company, ironically titled Better.
New episodes every week! Subscribe to that thing!
And this is when people started to scoff and laugh at her. A lot of people were making fun of her for having the gall to get a Hollywood agent. She was just some small town hick. Why is she getting so much attention and fame? I mean, anyone could have the third most popular podcast in the United States with guests like JoJo Siwa and Mark Cuban, and it really didn't help that a lot of media outlets were really overhyping her success. I mean, really, Rolling Stone, is the Hawk Tuah Girl the hero the nation needs right now? You don't think that's a little bit of a stretch? And I don't want to defend Hayley Welch too much because, like I said, potential criminal charges. But I don't really think you can blame a girl for taking the opportunity, especially by this point she hadn't really hurt anyone. Yes, there's an argument to be made that there are more talented people who never get their fame and spotlight that she got, but also if you were presented with the opportunity to go from a minimum wage job to a multi-millionaire seemingly overnight, would you take it? Of course! Go on, get that bag. As long as you're not hurting anyone, who cares? I do know one thing though, and that's that Hawk Tuah Girl wasn't done. She was not satisfied with now just having a successful podcast and successful influencing career. She wanted to break into business. And to me, the reasoning is pretty clear. If you are solely a creator, even at your most viral, your income is coming from three main sources: ad revenue, fans, and sponsorships, all of which are directly tied to your popularity. And even the most successful influencers have only really been mega successful for, let's say, a decade. Popularity is fleeting and it's very unreliable, especially for someone who started with a blowjob joke. This is why so many singers, actors, and influencers have started businesses. Even when they're not putting out new content, they'll still be making money. Reese Witherspoon, for example, is a huge actress, most well known for films like Legally Blonde or Walk in the Line. And while she probably made a good amount of money from those, the production company she founded, Hello Sunshine, sold for $900 million, which I'm willing to bet is a decent amount more. Now, returning to Hayley Welch, the Hawk Tuah Girl. In October on her podcast, a lot of her fans noticed that she started using the term Pookie a lot. Pookie, of course, is a pet name that you would affectionately refer to your partner as, sort of like babe or sweetie. At first, a lot of people just thought she was Southern, but no, it turns out she was branding, because a couple weeks later, she launched her new app, Pookie Talk, an AI-powered dating advice app. It's so funny. And it's so bad. The app came with such features as giving zodiac compatibility ratings, helping you to respond to people's texts, and detecting someone's true height through photos. All of these features could be yours for the low price of $5 a week, which means if you did it for a full year, it would be over $250. Needless to say, the app was a huge nothing burger and was a pretty dramatic failure with people ridiculing it. Honestly, the most value the app has provided can be found in the actual App Store ratings. Hello, I am a lonely 56-year-old Indian man with alopecia. The only disappointing part of this app is the lack of big booty Latinas. What does Hawk Tuah Girl have against big booty Latinas? So now that her business venture is a flop, her podcast has dropped out of Spotify's top 100, and she only has her millions of Instagram followers to fall back on, what is a girl to do? Poor, successful influencer Haley Welch really only had one option, and that's to turn to a life of crime. Or, even worse, cryptocurrency.
My Hawk meme coin is live!
Now, this latest news actually comes from this week, and it's still a developing story, so things might change and I might have gotten some things wrong as news comes out. On December 4th, under 6 months since the original Hawk Tuah video went live, Haley launched Hawk Tuah Coin, the latest in a series of meme coins chasing the success of Elon Musk and Doge. Now, cryptocurrency is very confusing to a lot of people, including myself, but I'm going to try and explain this in very simple terms, so stick with me. What Haley did with Hawk Tuah Coin is referred to as a pump and dump scheme and resulted in a lot of her fans losing their life savings. Unlike the most popular cryptocurrency Bitcoin, which you can actually use to purchase real life items like cars or food, or just convert to US dollars, most meme coins only exist as a digital asset to buy and sell, meaning you only really buy them because you're hoping they will go up in value, you can sell them and then make a bit of profit. This also means that they are a Ponzi scheme because there's always going to be someone who loses money on them. Someone has to be the Ponzi for anyone to make money. Now, the pump and dump scheme Haley did with Hawk Tuah Coin, also known as a rug pull, works like this. She announces she's creating a coin as a way to interact more with her fans. Then, without opening it to the public, she invites investors behind the scenes to purchase some of the Hawk Tuah Coin, promising them that eventually they will be worth money. But now there's an issue, because they own a bunch of this imaginary asset, but it's not like they can go to a McDonald's and just buy a Big Mac with it, or go to the nearest bank and exchange it for US dollars. They need to sell it to another consumer. In this case, what Haley Welch did is advertise the coin. She started doing giveaways. Because she has a large following, a lot of people got the idea in their heads that if I invest in Hawk Tuah Coin, eventually it'll be worth some actual cash and I can make money. So the demand for what is, and I want to make this clear, an imaginary piece of cash based on a 6-month-old sex joke begins to skyrocket to the point that the market value of Hawk Tuah Coin as a whole was estimated to be nearly $500 million. Now this starts making headlines. People are getting excited. Haley and her team are pumping up the price of the coin that isn't even publicly available to buy. So when it does launch, there are thousands of people who are trying to invest because they think this is their ticket to riches. And the ones who are selling all the coins and making actual US dollars are Haley and all the investors that bought coins before it launched. But because they flooded the market, everyone who wanted Hawk Tuah Coin now has it, which means there are no more potential buyers, which means they can't sell it, and the price begins to plummet. The market value of Hawk Tuah Coin went from $500 million to $30 million within an hour. This is the pulling of the rug, or the dump part of a pump and dump. You pump the price up, then dump the coins on the Ponzi's. Now the scammers, presumably Haley Welch and her team, walk away with seemingly millions of dollars, while all of her fans who bought into Hawk Tuah Coin are left with their life savings in ruins. And as much as I want to feel bad for them, I also have to just say, really? You invested your life savings in Hawk Tuah Coin? In their defense though, just 6 months ago, Haley Welch was a tipsy factory worker walking down the street, and a couple weeks later, she was a multi-millionaire influencer. So is it really that far of a stretch to invest in Hawk Tuah yourself and become rich? Who's to say? Well, Haley Welch's crypto team sure has something to say about the fans who bought into it.
Most of you, we don't want you in the community. Let's be real, right? You're not great people. I think crypto brings the mentally ill into this thing, right?
It's always a good look when the people that made millions off of a crypto scheme insult the people who bought it and gave them their money. Now, what does this mean for Haley Welch? Since pump and dump schemes are pretty well known in the stock trading world and are highly illegal, they're considered a form of insider trading. What complicates what otherwise would be a very open and shut, illegal, go to jail case is a couple things. One, this is cryptocurrency, which is very unregulated. If she was to be tried in this case, it would be a landmark case that would set the precedent for all crypto schemes going forward. Two, we still don't know how much involvement she had in this. Was she someone who was just brought on to be the face of the company and they renamed it Hawk Tuah Coin? Or did she have direct involvement and know it's a scam? We don't know, and that's still to come out as people investigate. How much benefit of the doubt Haley Welch gets is really up to you, the individual, but all I have to say is she's already been caught lying about it. She publicly stated that no one, including her on her team, has sold their coins, despite all trades of the coin being public, and there being receipts to show that a lot of her team had sold the coins. When asked in a Twitter space by a financial investigative YouTuber CoffeeZilla where a huge amount of money had flowed to, no one on her team could answer, and eventually after more people started asking her, she just, and I'm being real about this, went to bed.
Being generated, there's an actual like
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
So even if she really didn't know it was a scam and she's innocent in this, at best, she's extremely negligent and not being upfront. And can you really say you're surprised? It's not like she's well associated with any other crypto scammer. As I said before though, this is still very much a developing story. If you want to learn more and follow it or know more in depth about crypto scams, I highly recommend checking out CoffeeZilla. He's one of my favorite YouTubers and is a great investigator. He goes far more in depth than I even understand. And besides that, have a nice damn rest of y'all's day.